Good evening, ladies. I hope you are all having a great time at the Bachelorette party right now. And so I hope that Courtney has also told you what we're doing here. And so I will start with my first question right now. Where did you two first meet eyes? Well, this question has three different answers to it. The very first time Petra laid eyes on me, I was a freshman in college going to her and Kelly's crew banquet. At this moment, I would like Petra to please finish the story from her mother's point of view, if you would. The second time, and the first time that I ever saw Petra, was for just a moment in passing at one of the crew parties that Kelly threw in the spring of sophomore year. But that moment led me to be very excited when Kelly recommended that I bring Petra down to DC a few months later, and that's the story that we always tell as our first real meeting. Question number 2. What did you do for your first real date? Waiting, waiting, waiting. I would say that our first date was 2 weeks after that aforementioned story going for a run in Central Park. Next question. Where was your first kiss? Well, as I mentioned in the first story, we had 3 different times where we could have met each other. But about 4 hours into that car ride, there was some tension in the car because it was only me and her, and we'd had a long and really nice conversation to that point. So I forget what the impetus exactly was, but at one point around southern New Jersey, I pulled over and we made out. And that was my very romantic first kiss with Petra. Did you first say I love you? How did it happen and who said it first? So, I will wait for just a little while longer. So at that time, we were living in distance. I was living in Connecticut. She was living in New York City. So we were exchanging long emails and phone calls back and forth with one another. And after 2 weeks, we had had our first date. And I think after another 2, we were on the phone on a random, it was like a Thursday or something like that. And I was the one who said it first as we were hanging up. And she immediately responded in kind, and it was very quick, but we were off to the races. What do you find most attractive about Petey, and what does she find most attractive about you? Well, that is something that now I shall go. What I find most attractive about Petra is her eyes. She looks up at me, and when I haven't made her mad, which sometimes happens, she just looks up at me and is so happy and lovely and beautiful that I just fall in love with her every single time. So my favorite, most attractive part about Petra is her eyes, especially when she's looking up at me. And what I would say Petra's favorite, most attractive part about me is my ass. Okie dokie, moving right along. What is one thing that you do that annoys her the most? What is one thing that she does that annoys you the most? I would say that the one thing that annoys Petra more than anything else is when I don't do the little things that she asks me for. Her job can be really stressful, and at times, if she expects something to be done that just isn't, that's not a good look, and our apartment is not a happy place. Regarding the flip side, a lot of the time when she's cranky because I know that she hasn't slept or that she's just been really busy, and we just get into a little fight, I find that very aggravating. But I would say that most of the time we're kind of settled into our routine now, so I don't think these things happen very frequently. What is your favorite late night snack? What is hers? Well, my favorite late night snack would probably be chicken wings. boneless wings from wherever with buffalo sauce, and she would probably be pizza or maybe nachos, depending on where we go. But I would actually like to say that one of our big problems with Raleigh so far is that we haven't found a pizza place that we can really, go to every time. So it's been filled with first world problems down here in Raleigh, that's for damn sure. Okay, next up, what is your alcoholic drink of choice? What is hers? Well, Petra's drink of choice would clearly be a Moscow Mule because that is the drink of our wedding. And also on our registry, we got 4 wonderful Moscow Mule mugs that we've actually had down in Raleigh for a while. And so Petra's definitely been using those. So after Petra's Moscow Mule, I would have to say that mine would probably be a Goose Island. Or if I'm feeling feisty, maybe a Jack and Coke or a Jameson on the rocks, something like that. But usually sticking to beers. If she could get rid of one piece of clothing in your closet, what would it be? Well, it would not be one piece of clothing, per se. It would be one origin of clothing. She would probably get rid of everything that my mom got me that is a polo shirt. That's not even a question. Kelly, thoughts? Next up, where is your favorite place to go out together? Well, my favorite thing about Petra is that we are very much some homebodies. So we've moved to this wonderful new place. We have all these wonderful new opportunities that we've never checked out. And we go to the same few restaurants all of the time. In fact, we went tonight to Mura, which is the same place that we always go to. So easily, it's Mura. We go there, we have the same exact food every single time, probably once at least a week. And, it works for us and we feel good afterwards, so why not just keep doing it, right? So in a similar vein, what is your favorite thing to do together? We were at a wedding last week. And at that wedding last week, those people talked about how they'd love to go do all these wonderful exercises together and this and that. And I remember turning to Petra and just being like, that's so not us. All we really do is Netflix and chill. We're big Netflix and chill people. So I would say that that's our favorite thing to do together. When Game of Thrones comes out, you know where we'll be. What side of the bed do you sleep on? Well, I sleep on the left side. I sleep on the left side at our apartment at my parents' house, not at her parents' house, because I think that she's always slept there, but I think that she prefers me being closer to the door because when, few and far between, but it has happened, things go bump in the night, she wants me to go up and check them out. And luckily, nothing's ever been found, but if I'm not there on the left side keeping guard, bad things might happen, so we try to keep me over there. Where is your dream vacation spot to go together? Well, originally, when we were planning this, we were going to do the little huts on the water out in Bali, which would be just an absurd honeymoon. It takes a day and a half just to get there from most places. And I think that if we'd been able to make it work for this period, we would have tried that. But with work and everything, I don't think we can make that happen. But hopefully, sometime in the next few years, we'll be able to go visit those huts on the water and have our true dream vacation, even though St. Lucia will be pretty awesome. Well, now let's get into the real most important question on this docket, which is, how many kids do you two want to have? So, Petra, at the risk of completely putting my foot in my mouth and ruining this weekend for you, which I hope I do not do, it's been going back and forth so many times that I don't know the answer to this question right now. I mean, there have been days a long time ago that Petra has legitimately looked at me and said, I want 7. There have been days within the past few months where Petra's said, I want none. And we've talked about that old Time magazine article of having it all means not having kids, and there's definitely something to that. But if I know Petra at all, I think the proper answer to this is at least 3. And only time will tell. But whatever she wants to do is pretty much okay with me. Because, I don't really have to do that much. So I guess it's okay. Whatever she wants to choose is fine. If she was on a desert island, what 3 things would she take? If Petra was on a desert island, she would probably need a blankie because she's an insane person who always needs a blankie, regardless of even being on a desert island. But the nice thing is she wouldn't need sunscreen because the blankie would be a nice little sunscreen for her. But I think after that, if she had a blankie and an umbrella for some nice shade so she could take her little nap, then she really wouldn't need very much else. So she'd probably take me with the assumption that I'm the one who has to do the hunting and stuff because, she's got her blankie and her umbrella to take a nap with. So I'll just, be there to hunt. And, hopefully everything will work out. Because, we're both very, very good at being on a desert island. Next up, you just won $1 million. What is the first thing that Petra buys or spends it on? And what is the first thing that you buy or spend it on? Well, let's see. I would say that Petra, with her desire to put down roots and her general lack of desire to waste money, even if she won $1 million some way, she'd still use it for something like buying a house. Because she doesn't like to waste money or something like that. So I would say that she would do that while I've never really been a car person, but Petra's car is really nice. And I have I have a decent car, so maybe I'd get not a crazy nice car, but maybe like a nice car. Take off 50,000, put something into that, and then spend the rest some intelligent way. But maybe do that. Have a little bit of fun, Up next, the one that you get in trouble with. Given a free pass to sleep with any celebrity, who would Petey choose and who would you choose? Well, I actually know what Petra's answer to this question is because we talked about it a couple years ago. She really likes that guy Matt Bonner from White Collar, I believe it is. But he's gay in real life, so okay. But for me, I would have to go with J-Law. I mean, she's just a classic, right? And last but not least, what was the first thing that she said after you proposed? Besides yes, of course. I actually love this story. So we've been talking around the idea of getting engaged, and one thing that Petra said over and over again was that if a guy didn't know how a woman would want to get engaged, then he didn't really know her and therefore didn't deserve to get engaged, right? So, there are certain women who want the champagne glass at an NYC restaurant and others who would never want to get engaged that way, that sort of thing. So I felt like I really understood that what Petra would want is something us. Like I mentioned earlier, we're very low key. So on the morning of July 5th, I went out, I got breakfast, and I put it all together on a nice little tray. And when I came back, she was still sleeping. And I placed it right in front of her and woke her up and everything. And then she woke up and she saw it. And so she said yes, and she was all excited and kissed me and everything like that. But then the first thing that she really said was, we got to take a picture, but I look terrible right now because she had just woken up. She had the crusties in her eyes. She was wearing one of my Ultimate jerseys. But we still have that picture, and I really love it. But that's the first thing that she said. I have crusties in my eyes. Can't take a picture. But I think that picture is so us, so I absolutely love it. And with that, we are finished. So I hope you have a great rest of your weekend, and I hope that you got them right. Bye.